All right, so in this video, I was going to share my reaction and opinions to the content in this lady's video talking about modern dating lessons. And I think it's things that are really useful and applicable to men and women. And it's something that I've seen and experienced time and time again. So let's get to the reaction.
Learn the lesson myself. So now I just want to teach you the lesson so that you can be honest with yourself. That man did not end things with you or ghost you because he's too intimidated by you. Stop convincing yourself of that. Stop letting your friends convince you of that. People used to say that to me, so I used to say it all the time when things didn't work out with a guy. I've been pretty successful from a pretty young age, and one of the things about me at that time was that I made my whole personality trait. Didn't need anybody for anything. Work came first. I was a little more on the argumentative, highly opinionated, which I am a highly opinionated person, but it was just a different way. And people used to say that to me, oh, well, they're just so intimidated by you. And I ate that shit up until finally it came to my senses and matured. And I was like, well, I'm not dating insecure men. So I don't think that the men I date who are successful, have their shit together, pretty confident, are ending it with me because they're intimidated. They think I'm too good for them. I just don't think that that's necessarily true. What I've learned and realized is that they just don't like it. If you are argumentative, why would they spend their time with you when there's someone else who's not? Or if your whole life is about not needing anybody and just oh, I can do this, I can do that because I'm so successful and work is everything to me, then why would they want that in a partner when there's someone who's more open to being a team rather than so independent? The only time it'd probably be true if a man was intimidated by you would be if he had significantly less going for him than you do. Successful, you make a ton of money, you travel, you live in a nice place, whatever, and he's between jobs and lives with his parents, doesn't have a steady income. Or if you're 10 out of 10 stunning model, most beautiful girl he's ever seen, and he's unhealthy, unattractive, never been with someone else like you, so he gets intimidated and unfortunately psychs himself out. Maybe in that case. But chances are that's not what your dating dynamic is, and it's just that your personality isn't for him. He just doesn't like it, but he's not intimidated by you.
But in reality, it's a self-defeating mindset that allows these people, male or female, to feel like professional victims. Everything is everyone else's fault. And it just basically sets you up to always be in the right and always have an infinite selection of choices to blame or denigrate or put the other person down. And it's just a really ineffective way of living your life. And I think makes people quite miserable, quite unhappy. And at least it just kind of defeats the purpose, because I realize I'm kind of an idiot. And I assume that a romantic, loving relationship would be loving, and it would be a break from the competitive bullshit that you would have to deal with in the rest of the world. Always having to prove yourself and be on defense or be overly polite or not say what you really mean, not say what you really feel. Basically, a myriad of ways of not actually being who you are and being comfortable in being who you are. So I'm such an idiot that I thought romantic relationships were a place that you could let all those boundaries and those, not those boundaries, but let all those walls and those defense mechanisms and all that confrontation and conflict down to be comfortable yourself with another person, and you accept each other for who you are, and you relate in a more deep and meaningful way than most other relationships in the world. I thought that's what the point of a romantic relationship was. The major thing that a lot of people miss when they hear things like that and come across things like that is the underlying insecurity that drives someone to feel like they always have to prove themselves. They always have to compete with the other person, and they always have to show that they don't need the other person. That's really a really insecure, ineffective place to live your life, whether that's professionally or in a family dynamic or in a romantic dynamic. That's just, frankly speaking, not a good way of relating to other people. And it's a way that's basically very likely to only lead to conflict and to people being isolated. Because the nature of any relationship is that it is a relationship. It is kind of an interdependent exchange of people, of ideas, feelings, experiences, whatever. It's a place where people should be coming to share and contribute. So it just seems like, obviously, if your attitude is obviously in conflict with that and defensively trying to avoid that, then really what is the point of even being in a relationship? And it's just not going to work. There's just frankly no way around it. And it's tragic to me. It's very sad that we're at a point in time in history where these basic simple, fundamental, trivial ideas are so revolutionary or so kind of offensive to a lot of people.